What's up, bro?
Yo, I can't see you now. Oh, there you go. Okay.
What's good?
Dylan, you all right?
I'm good, man. Blessed and highly favored. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just in the studio. Well, I'm here every day, but just working like crazy.
Of course you are. But listen, where else will you be but the studio?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my life.
Man, listen, it's a good life, though. It's
Absolutely.
a good life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, first of all, let me say I'm honored to have you.
You're honored. I'm honored.
No. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it because, I don't play. Especially about 313. I don't play around.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So, first of all, welcome. And
thank you.
I don't have to introduce myself to you because we already have a connection.
Absolutely. Can I tell the story?
Yes, of course. But I want to let people know. I'm gonna let you go for it because this is like these last two is like personal. So I got you and then I got LG. So that's kind of like I've been getting to know everybody. Some of the young ladies, I just kind of found out about them. But for you guys, it's like this is kind of close to the vest. So
sure.
I know most of the people that are on here. Hey Camille, what's up, Camille? Hey Queen, have joined. Hey Ray. They're joining for DJ DDT. So, my name is Joya. I am the director of NABFEME Detroit. And we are a non-profit women's resource-based organization. There is a contest that's coming up called Battle of the Cities. Los Angeles has asked Detroit to battle them because nobody wanted to take on Los Angeles. This is a singing contest. So I started thinking about the question. First, I'm biased. I just feel like I'm biased. So I'm like, there's something in the water with Detroit, with our producers, with our DJs, with just us, just that thing. So I said, well, it's no better place to start with this whole thing. To just start the conversation and then let it grow from there. And wherever it goes, it shall be.
Absolutely.
Right? But I said, I wanted to start with singers, to ask singers, what do you think it is? What do you think it is that makes the Detroit sound or Detroit singer or Detroit creative so special? Now we've evolved to the end, right? And I said, oh, this is perfect. I will end with my two kings. And I gotta have the conversation with the nucleus, the heartbeat. If it weren't for the DJ, there's nothing. So I ain't gonna belabor this conversation. I want to let you have it. But first, let me say welcome to everybody. And then Ray said everybody in the D can sing. So I want to take you back for a second because I got to create this dynamic between you and I because I never told you this. So when I first got to New York, I would be in the tunnel. And at that time, DJ Cap was my DJ. I would go between Big Cap and this guy from the Bronx named DJ Stan Strong.
I never knew.
So rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace to both of them. They're both transition on. But Cap would open up for Flex. When I would hit the tunnel, it would be like a long wall that led to the DJ all the way up to where Flex would spin. And you would just see Biggie, you would see every Junior Mafia, everybody. It's along this long wall. And I would just go all the way to the front. And there was this huge speaker. And I would just stand in front of the speaker all night. And never move. I mean, of course, but to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. But so this is my affinity with the DJ. So I needed to give you that because it started in Detroit. It's like I can name you every DJ. I can from Hicks in the Mix, Charles Hicks.
Charles Hicks, yeah.
Like I can go down the line, even to before that to Mojo. So,
wow.
Welcome, Desmond. Welcome, DJ DDT. I'll let you introduce yourself and go into the story.
All right, so my name is Desmond DJ DDT Travis. Native Detroiter, born and raised here. I started in radio in 1994. I was at our biggest radio station at the time, WJLB. I was there from 94 to 2009. I was also, on the hip hop scene, or what we call the underground hip hop. A lot of people used to call us backpackers, but I was on that scene, so I was always at St. Andrews when it was three floors of fun. When the main floor was hip hop, straight hip hop. After that, I was Eminem and D12's DJ around the time they got signed. Around the time M signed them. I did production after that. I was always doing beats, but actual production after that with my man Denon from D12. After that, I learned how to DJ while I was, not DJ, I learned how to engineer while I was with Denon. So, and actually I can thank you from probably the story that we're both itching to tell right now. But I can thank you for sparking more of my, I was always intrigued by how things work, but you helped spark it even more. I don't know if you realize that or not, but that's where you and I, you know what I mean? It was that was probably 30, 40 minutes. It was that was that impactful for me.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that long. Okay, well, tell the story. I'll let you tell the story.
Okay. So you were, or are, you're still, in my eyes, you're still a big artist. But at the time, you were that big artist that came in, you were promoting your single, you came in to do an interview, and I was the show producer at the time. But you and I just started talking, just started kicking it, and we ended up in a back room, a production room, and I just wanted to show you a couple of beats. I think I played 1 or 2 beats, and you were like, "Yeah, your beats are real dope, but man, you gotta work on your snare. You gotta make sure your snare is hitting a certain way so that when people hear it." And I sat there, I was like, "She right. My beats are delicate." So after that, I was just like, I started learning more about frequencies and where things are supposed to sit in the mix. And like I said, I ended up learning how to mix years later. And now I'm one of the top engineers in one of the biggest studios in Michigan right now. So I appreciate you big time.
Oh man, listen, I can't take no credit for that. Can't take no credit.
Take the flowers. Take the flowers.
Thank you so much. Thank you. When you told me that story, because I don't know if you remember, you sent me that.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like you DM'd me, and I was like, this is when we first started following each other.
Yeah.
And I was just so touched. I still have it, actually, because I screenshot it.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, man, no, I was like, that, you don't find that. That's a rare thing. It's a rare quality. So, I mean, it's funny, and then I'm going to transition into this question. I listened to Wax, Tax, and Dre.
That's my man.
Yeah. So, because a lot of it for me, especially because now I'm not as at home as much as I used to be. So it's like everything is nostalgic. You know, if I hear you, if I hear Dre, if I hear Fingers, like all of that for me is like, woo, it's a mix. You know? So when I work out, I didn't tell Dre this, but I play his mix all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I work out to. Jit music. Straight up jit music. So we were talking, and he was like, "I didn't know you listen to me." I'm like, "Are you crazy?" I'm logging on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm there, bro. So I wanted to ask you, just because I know that, like I said, without the DJ, like there's not me. There's nothing. Like there's no, I'm just gonna say because she's the first name that pops to my head, but I know Nisha Nashe, she's an artist there, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, that's right.
There's no Nisha Nashe without the DJ. There's no nobody without the damn DJ. So what do you think, in your opinion, makes a Detroit DJ, artist, or anything? What do you think is the thing that makes them unique?
It's hard to pinpoint, but it is our environment ultimately. But it's just a certain flair we have, because when you do go out of town and you do hear other things, and it's not to diss people, but you like, some sound like what I'm used to. This is okay, but it ain't what we do in Detroit. And it's crazy because it's been like that for me since the 90s.
Okay.
Everywhere I went, everywhere I listened to, and being in radio, we had the opportunity to listen to other cities. This is before internet. You know what I mean? And I would listen in to other cities, and I would hear mix show DJs. I'm like, they all right. But they didn't have what we had here. And I think a lot of it can be attributed to techno, being that it was made here, invented here, by Juan Atkins and Kevin Saunderson and those guys. That energy, you know what I mean? And even before them, I know that they're, I was only born in 74, so there were things in the 70s and early 80s that I'm pretty sure that we missed. But even looking back at old videotapes, I can see a certain energy here compared to energy I see in other cities, even on old tapes of those old cities. We had a certain energy here, and the energy would keep the tempo of music up also, which is why techno is so fast. And even though techno is fast, I'm from the east side, so we played it on 45 on the east side. Everything. When everything was between 120 and 133 BPMs, it would go to 165. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
170, 180. And that was just the energy we had. When it came to jitting, that and once again, that's something that came from the 70s.
Right.
I found out that, and I'm not sure how accurate it is, I found out that the jitterbugs were a bunch of guys who would go around robbing people while they were dancing. I'm not sure how accurate that is, though. I gotta find out how accurate that is.
Wow.
The jitterbugs, which is where the name came from. I don't know if you remember, they used to dress in these zoot suits and pop lock and jit.
Yes.
Well, it became jitting because of their names. But yeah, it was nuts. The energy was nuts. And that is where a lot of our, everything that's in us, that's where a lot of it has come from. Even if you listen to our hip hop, there's a lot of techno in our hip hop. A lot of it.
And just hearing you talk, it's like you bring up so much for me. Like, is the reason why I love the culture so much. Is the reason why, you know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to you guys. This is like, I'm a kid in a candy store right now, because I'm getting a chance to talk to all of the people that I admire so much. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you? I wonder why. I want to be careful about how I pose this question. So, when you talk about the 70s, when you talk about techno, when you talk about Juan Atkins, even when you talk about Denon Porter, like, Denon Porter is like, yo.
That is my guy. I love that man to death.
Yo.
He, like, that's who, like, he and I, when D12 was, when everything had started to bubble up, we had an apartment together. He would, it was me, him, and another guy, what is his name? That's horrible. I'm a horrible man right now. Hit more beats per day than all of us. Okay. And it was the drive that he had. It was I don't even know what, but and every beat that I ever heard was ridiculous from him. And I'm talking like, this is, all the stuff he did on Infinite all the way to now. Every beat that I've heard, I don't think I've heard a whack beat from Denon Porter.
Ever. Like, that's the thing. Like, ever. This kid just gets, it's crazy.
Yeah.
With that, what I was going to say to you was, this is perfect. Do you think that we as a city, especially when it comes to music, do you think we're unsung?
In ways, yeah.
And why?
We're not the ones who, how can I say it? I was about to say we're not the ones who go for the flair, but we're very flashy. We're very, very flamboyant. But our style, and I'm talking about even our style of energy, it's not taken in very well from other people.
Why do you think that is?
Because I don't even think it's a good or bad thing, or it may not even be an uncomfortable thing, or what would make it uncomfortable is the fact that our groove just don't fit into everybody else's groove.
Okay.
And it's like our groove is the groove that everybody else has to catch on to. And a lot of times people will catch on to it late. Even today, here's what's crazy about today's music. And I'm not sure how big it is in other cities and states.
Sure.
But Detroit's current rap music is actually, like, the production side is actually a production style that was done over 20 years ago. And people are just now, not just now, but people are bringing it. It's hard to say bring it back because it never went anywhere. But this production style is now becoming noticed.
Right.
And it's starting to become a little prominent everywhere else.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean by our groove being caught on to late.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how I look at everything that happens in and from Detroit.
Right. Do you think that this has always been like your knowing? Like, when did you know that DJing and music was your calling, your purpose?
Oh, when I was about 4 or 5 years old. My dad had a huge 45 collection. Actually, just records, period, for me when I was like 2 years old that he gave me. And I would just sit all day and play records in my room. And I'm talking, from 3 to maybe 8 or 9 years old. And learning how to read early was a blessing for me because that whole time What I was doing was reading the credits on the back of the album cover. So I would learn what a writer was. I would learn what a producer was. I'm talking 5 and 6 years old. I'm learning all of this stuff. Learn who, what the engineer was doing, and learning what instruments people were playing in the songs.
Yeah.
Who was playing those instruments? What studio they recorded in? I'm reading all of this at 5 and 6 years old.
Right.
1978. I was 4 years old. One of my favorite albums was "Feel So Good" by Chuck Mangione. I still, to this day, just remember looking at that A&M Records label. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I learned how to officially DJ by the time I was 9. I was DJing when I was like 5 because my parents would leave the house, and like I was the youngest out of 7. Okay. So my brothers and sisters were a lot older than me. Okay. So they didn't want to sit there and change the record all day. They wanted to party. Right. So my house became the party house, because my parents would leave almost every weekend to go do stuff. And I would be left with the duty of changing the record all night. Yeah. So 5 and 6 years old, I'm the DJ at my house. But like I said, by the time I was 9, I learned how to DJ officially on a pair of 12s and a mixer. That's where it started for me. So when did DJing from the 12s and the mixers? I want to ask you so many questions I got in my mind, just trying to compartmentalize everything. But I want to ask you about your first equipment as a producer, because when I think about you and I talking back then, the first thing that comes to my mind is the SP1200. But I want to know, when did the transition happen where you were like getting noticed, and now you find yourself with D12, like in with Eminem, because that's big. Like, that's big. Royce, everybody, that's like a big deal. Actually, fun fact, I never touched an SP12 to this day. Ever. What? I regret it, but I don't regret it because I feel like I can still, find one somewhere. And then I know that they were remaking them, so I always wanted to try one. But it was always... So what would you just went straight to the Akai or just controller? Yeah, it was always the MPC for me. Okay, got it. Yeah, it was always the MPC. But when did I first get noticed? Yes. Actually, when I bought my first MPC, thanks to a homegirl who just felt generous. My homegirl Shawnee, gave me the money to buy an MPC. And that was 1996. Dude. Before then, I was doing beats manually. This is what's crazy. I was doing beats on reel. When people say loops... Okay, you got to break that down. Got to break it down. When people say loops, I was making physical loops. I would record whatever drum sample I wanted. Okay. And then I would take that piece off the tape, cut it, make a loop, put it together, and sit it on the tape deck, on the real tape deck, so where it just loop forever. Shut up. So I would do that on a 1/4 inch, where it's just 2-track tape, and I would let it run on a 1/2 inch tape, which was 8-track. Mm-hmm. And on the other 2 so that's 2 tracks. The other 6 tracks, I would find a bass line and then another sample, and I would mix them in, and then I would take that and I would loop that, make a loop, and I would sit that on the tape deck so it would run forever. Wow. And then on the board, I would just take it in and out where I wanted to take it in and out. Wow. And that's how I made beats. Wow. Yo, that's straight analog. I actually want to do that again. I haven't done that in years. That's straight analog right there. Straight analog. So
at the time so how old were you when you get the Akai, and now you're in the company of like these big wigs?
1996, I was 22 years old.
So, okay, what is it like for you at 22, running with the crew, with D12 and Eminem? Because
I was
listen,
just, nobody was signed, nobody was huge or big. We were all still
okay,
going to St. Andrews. You know what I mean?
okay,
It was, we would just pass tapes in between each other.
right,
Me and Proof I would have him come over to the studio, to the radio station. We'd sit in the production room, just do songs all day, or he would end up rearranging a beat I made and make a whole new beat. What else was going on back then? The nine was, I didn't get around the nine until 98. No.
okay.
Yeah, it was 96. The end of 96. So he had, what was the Ensoniq keyboard, sampling keyboard?
Oh, God.
ASR 10. He had an ASR 10.
Okay.
So that's what he was doing beats off of. I was floored.
Okay.
With what he was doing on it. Okay.
So now 96, but still now the crew is growing. So what, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what is that like for you? Like, what do you, is all of this just second nature by this time because you guys started from?
It was second nature for me. Just doing what I was doing was second nature because I was deep hip hop. To this day, my favorite group is De La Soul. I was, this is when we were doing 3 Floors of Fun at St. Andrews. So I would show up, and there were a bunch of DJs, and I was one of them who DJ'd for free, just to get up there with my man House Shoes. I love him to death to this day, but House Shoes would let us all come in there and DJ for free, and it was all underground hip hop. It was no commercial hip hop, right. You know what I mean? Yep. All underground. I do. I still remember to this.
ARCN, okay.
I was getting a call. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all
but yeah,
good.
to this day, I remember being at St. Andrews, and luckily for me being in a radio station, I would get things a lot sooner than other DJs. So,
okay, hold on now. Hold on, Des. When did the radio station happen? Yo, I would like to smoke. Do not be trying to skip over.
I was in radio in 94.
Okay.
So, and this is, straight from high school. I was doing the whole Votech thing. Took the radio class there. I got an internship at WJLB. And my timid behind, I was just too timid to talk to people. Too shy. And I was in the promotions department as an intern, but I was in there with another guy who went to school with me. And he didn't care. He just took my reels that I had from school, walked it into, I don't know if you remember Steve Hegwood. Yeah. Steve Hegwood was the program director at the time.
Yep.
So my boy, his name is Sanchez Brazil. He took my reels to Steve Hegwood. It was like, yeah, my man did that in another room. So Steve called me in his room. He's like, you did this? He's like, why you never said that? I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to overstep my boundaries. He was like, he hired me to do an edit right there on the spot.
Wow.
So I did it. He paid me. I ended up, he was like, I'll call you later about,
coming back.
Yeah, coming back. It took us 6 months of phone tag before I got it. I didn't start working there. Now, that was January. I didn't start working there until June of 94.
Did you think it was going to happen?
No, I didn't. And I didn't even think of how big it was going to, because you got to think, I'm listening to JLB since I can remember.
Yeah.
So for me to now be Mason in the Morning's co-worker, and at the time I became Trey Black's radio producer. Rest in peace, Trey Black.
Wait, hold on.
What? Oh, you didn't? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trey died in, I want to say 2011.
What the heck just happened? Okay, yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that was my man.
Because I remember Trey Black.
Yeah, Trey was
Black
cool.
was before Bush.
Yeah. That's funny. Bushman started Valentine's Day 95. 95 or 96? 95. That's when Bushman started. And I was his show producer when he came in. That's when I met you. Bushman was on the air.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I actually sat Bush down and told him, now that you are in Detroit, you basically belong to these streets, brother.
Yeah, because Bushman is from North Carolina, right?
He's from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay, this one person keeps calling me. I'm going to tell her where I am, because...
Take your time.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good. You good. So, okay. We're at this point in time, okay, I know, so you're young still.
Yeah.
And now you're at the major radio station.
Yeah. Loving every minute of it.
Right. I mean, yeah, because my mind is blown right now, just kind of trying to soak everything up. So
June of 94, I was 19.
Right.
When I got hired. My birthday's in July, so I didn't turn 20 for a month before I got hired in.
So what are you thinking? Like, are you like, oh my God, these are my idols? Are you scared? Are you like, I got this?
I was in awe, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm here, so let's get this job done. So I basically just did the job, loved every minute of it.
Okay.
But my timidity, me being quiet, kept me from a lot of things. It's to the fault of nobody but me.
Okay.
I don't want to say missed out on a lot of opportunities, but a lot of things passed me up.
Really?
A lot of things, yeah. A lot of things.
Okay. Because from my perspective, and I want you to, dig in deep on that, because from my perspective, I think sometimes, especially when it's pertaining to the entertainment industry, right? Like, it's kind of like people don't realize you really have to develop emotional intelligence early.
Yeah.
Yes,
you do. Yes, you do. And I can say that I had it, but
obviously
I was, and it took me years to get out of it, but I was a pushover. The whole time I was there. I was a not that I was intimidated by people or I was just pushed around,
right.
But it would always be, oh, okay, well, that's okay. That was me. Yeah,
no, why was that?
That was just my nature. It was just in my nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no strategy, no being like, you know what? I'm just gonna grin it and bear it. It was just just no nonsense.
It was my whole attitude at the time I was there was, I'm doing it, I'm loving it, I'm doing what I love. I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
My mind didn't change from that. So I just did just that.
Okay.
You know, I
So
DJ'd, I produced, I did shows there. I ran the board, and I was best. I was better than most people at all of these things, but I wasn't. I wasn't the type to go around and say, "Hey, look at me! I'm better than that person, so
I
I
see.
need to be doing that." I'm right here. Y'all need to have me here. Even though I was recognized, I can't
Right.
say that. I was recognized by my coworkers for a lot of that. I
Right.
think I even got an award, like the equivalent to an MVP award, in
Mm.
1998.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
and I didn't, what's the word? Not feed into it, but I didn't take that and use that to get more things.
Okay.
When I could have and should have.
Okay.
But once
I
again,
see what you're saying.
I was the quiet guy, sat in the back of the room. I even helped and trained a lot of people get further in their careers. But I
Somebody
was,
said, since Finney, you've been humble. Ever since Finney, Des has been super humble and low key.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And once again, it was something that it took me probably till my 40s to learn that and to get out of that.
You know, I'm glad. Who was that? Who said that?
Kato.
Kato. Yep. I'm glad Kato said that. Kato. Yep. Kato. Okay. Listen, he's absolutely right. The whole time you talking, this is what I'm thinking to myself. Your perception of it is one thing, but the way it's coming off is another. Because how do you, it's fortitude. You know how many people, come on, this is a rhetorical question, but can we talk about how many people, even PDs, program directors, DJs, like big DJs, big personalities that have came and they've come and gone,
Yeah.
especially in Detroit market.
Oh yeah, tons.
And here you are, like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I even contemplated on going back to radio, but I'm like, it's not the same. Like just looking back on how we used to operate and how it looks now.
Right.
Because I've been gone since technology has changed. I've been gone since the PPMs came around.
Okay, so when did you leave?
I got laid off in 2009.
Okay.
And it was, in my opinion, and I believe I'm pretty much right, they got petrified. The corporate side of it. They were petrified because, once again, PPMs came into play. PPMs is a personal people meter.
Okay.
Before PPMs, the way that radio stations used to get ratings, they would send something. They would send a letter to people's houses and have like a questionnaire, and they would have people write it down. But you can write down, what's your favorite radio station, JLB, while 92.3 playing in the background. You know what I mean? Right. So it became more accurate because the PPM was like a little it was shaped like a little pager. Put it on your hip and it picks up whatever you're listening to.
Right.
And the ratings became way more accurate.
Right.
And they had to scramble. They had to figure out what to do next. And when that happened, they knew that they would lose money. They knew that revenue was gonna lessen and lessen. So like every 6 to 8 months, they just started laying people off. I just happened to be caught in one of those waves. And I never returned. That was the thing.
So, whew, that's like, I hope everybody's taking it all in. Because you saying some things here.
Yeah.
So, what do you feel like the market is doing today?
The radio market or just the entertainment market?
Radio market, music market, just the Detroit market, period.
Radio is no longer a local thing.
Right.
And as a whole, it's less and less relevant.
What do you mean?
There are less people listening to radio now than ever, and
Period.
it's becoming less and less every day. From what I see.
Okay.
With
you must be getting a call. Okay.
Yeah, that was my wife this time.
Okay. We wrapping it up.
No. We good. I'll call her back. But
okay.
It was what was I saying? Radio. I hope that radio does not lose out completely.
Okay.
Because it's still a way for people to discover new music without the internet. Because
right.
I was trying not to say the internet, but it's basically the internet and social media. It's cool to discover things here,
right.
And it's good for us to have, but for it to be the main gateway for everything, I don't think it's that great because, for one, the floodgates are open,
right,
and that's cool, but you have no guard. Mm-hmm. There's nobody. See, when the major labels were, even though it's in my eyes the whole music industry still has a lot of prominent evil in it. I don't want to get on that just yet, but we still had people who, what we call the guard. When things came in, somebody did quality control. Mm-hmm. We don't have that anymore. Everything's for the streets.
Okay.
Everything is thrown at you, and it's like, if there are 1 million views on it, you're gonna go to it. People are basing so much on views instead of quality, talent, legacy. None of that matters.
So what is the needle that moves the culture? Like, what is it now for us?
Numbers. It's numbers. Our culture is moved by numbers, and the sad thing about that is people don't realize or don't know that these numbers can be manipulated, and they are being manipulated.
Bro.
It's
bro.
It is. There are and once again, this is part of that evil in the record business that will help these numbers move the way that they are moved. When it's not us, or when it's not the talent. You know what I mean?
It's true.
People don't, and people can argue up and down and say that well, all these kids are really doing. There are some kids that are really doing it. There are some, there are some people, artists who are really talented, even in current music. A lot of them, but there's so much trash being fed to us, and we don't even realize it because of how sheeply we are. We don't have the freedom that we think we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't have, and the big one is the freedom of choice. We don't have that freedom.
Right.
Everything is chosen for us.
Correct.
So, all of that just goes into one big, huge pot.
Yeah.
It comes out to be our culture.
Man, this is like a mouthful, you said. No, seriously, like, and listen, I'm wrapping it up because I know you got to get to wifey, and I know you got to get to the studio, and you got tons of stuff to do. But this is why it's so important that we support each other.
Yeah.
I'm listen, I'm so big on collaboration, and I just wonder why. You know, they released this Aretha thing, and I know there's two releases coming. We got Jennifer, we got Jay
Wow.
the movie, and then we got Cynthia Erivo, right? And they released this Aretha thing, and yo, the one thing I'm gonna say that I absolutely appreciated about it. I mean, there are many things, but my top thing is nobody was gonna tell this lady that she was not the greatest. Like, she had to come into it. I know that there was a time where, she was letting people take credit for certain things, but then she started speaking up, and after a while, it just became a matter of fact. Like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm just the queen of soul.
Yep.
And so, but I think to myself, if you watch that movie, if you watch it and watch all of it, watch it in its entirety. One thing about it, Detroit loved her. Like, they loved her. They loved this. This is now pre-Glenn Turman, why don't you? So this is this is like, she's still here. This is still Reverend Franklin's daughter.
Yeah.
And I just wondered to myself, like, do you see that we still have that? Or do you feel like that is dissipated? Like, do you feel like Detroit loves its own?
We definitely have it. I don't think when it comes to Detroit loving it or embracing it, I don't think, I think people have forgotten to love themselves, so they can't show how much they really love. It's my best friend is in the room in there now, Nissa. She is an incredible singer.
What's her name?
Incredible. Nissa.
Nissa.
Yeah.
What's up? Shout out to Nissa.
She is an incredible singer, but her audience will not be, and she's not pushing for that audience anyway, but her audience won't be the mainstream audience. Reason being, what up, dog? Reason being, everybody's afraid to like what they like. Everybody is, and they have gotten so used to liking, and even for you, somebody like you with an incredible voice, they don't like incredible voices. They don't like great voices.
Correct.
I remember playing back somebody with a good voice for another, like, very young person, and the young person was like, I
don't like it.
She doing too much.
Yeah.
Like, you literally have to know how not to sing, and then they'll like it.
Right.
And this is what I mean by the floodgates being open, so everything gets in, everything gets heard. They've gotten used to these voices that are not singing. Even Chris Brown, I get mad at Chris Brown because he has one of the dopest voices.
Yes, he does.
Of this time.
Yes, he does.
He knows that he can't use it.
Yes, he does. Oh my God! Yes, he does.
He doesn't use it because it's not what his audience wants to hear.
It's correct. All day. 100%.
Now, don't get me wrong. He'll hit certain pockets. He'll get there, but
he will.
For the most part, if he was to belt out a song, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
It ain't today. It's not today's music.
I would agree with you. I feel like we heard a little more from him on this last album.
Yeah.
Like we heard a little more
Yeah.
You know, he was a lot more musical, and more. I felt like he gave us more vocal composition on
Yeah.
this last album.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. The vocal composition. That's not what people want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before this album, you know, the last few albums, he would, like I said, he would hit those pockets and hit them like he's supposed to. But for the most part, he just all the way through, and that's what people want.
Right. Yo, okay, so because I gotta check out Nissa, I'm gonna check you out, and I'm posting the stuff on our page.
For sure. Yeah, she and I are
posting
working
your
on a lot of stuff now.
Okay, and listen, we gotta talk. So that's a good segue. Speaking of which, tell us about what you are working on now.
Well, what's crazy is at the same time that I learned how to DJ, I also gained an affinity for the camera. So,
Oh, shut up.
yeah. So
Shut up.
I'm a photographer. I'm a video director. I'm still DJing. I just brought my turntables in here. I'll probably go live. I was going to try to go live tonight, but it probably won't happen.
Okay.
But I go live on Mixcloud because it's legal.
Okay.
DJs can go over there and not get kicked off.
Right.
But so I still DJ.
Okay.
I'm still producing.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm one of the top engineers here at Mix Factory One.
Okay. I'm writing this down, guys. Okay. So, what artists are you working on right now?
Well, like I said, Nissa and I are working on a lot of stuff.
Nissa? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to Bianca Bad. We have done one song so far.
Okay.
Trying to get. She's a very dope singer.
Okay.
There's a guy named Name Tag Alexander I'm working with. He does a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Dope rapper.
Okay.
And me and my little brothers. It's 4 of us.
Okay.
We are a production crew called Creative Notes.
Okay, that's what I'm talking. Let's get to the good stuff. Okay, so on your way out, tell me. I got one more question for you too.
Yeah.
Because I noticed you said with Nissa, like, how would you describe her sound?
Shit. I'm sorry, I ain't supposed to be cussing.
It's all good.
Her sound is all over the place in a good way.
Okay. Like all over the place, like Bilal?
Bilal?
Bilal was all over. Hey, Bilal.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Try mixing Bilal with Patty and Aretha.
Oh.
And she's just like, I'll have to send you a couple videos.
Oh.
They're on YouTube. If you look up
Go Nissa?
Nissa, like Nissan without the N.
Yeah.
Look up Nissa, all right. She re-sang what's her name?
No, I'm gonna follow her because I see her IG tag. I'm gonna follow her.
She dope. You'll see a bunch of pictures of her and her band.
Okay.
But she is incredible. And we've been friends since our teens.
Oh, okay.
Lettucey. Right. She re-sang Lettucey.
Yes.
So but we've been friends since our teens.
Listen, I am not gonna keep you. We gotta talk. We gotta chop it up.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Listen, you are Detroit royalty. I just want you to know. And it's Women's History Month, so we definitely standing because of men like you, kings like you, leaders like you. So I just want to give you your flowers and just say thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. I
really,
appreciate
really
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah, 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 no doubt. So we got to chat, but any last note you want to leave off on?
Last word. Actually, I don't have any last words. I'm the type of person. I'm ready to go to work with any and everybody. I'm ready to be creative. I'm ready to. My brother just walked in. You know,
Okay.
we just right. You know, and when it comes to women in entertainment, women in music, women in radio, women doing all of this stuff, we need way more. I wish we had more female rappers to jump out there and do a lot of this stuff. I wish we had more female producers because there are a lot of female producers. I wish we had more to just jump out and you know, be seen and you know, get what they deserve out here.
Yeah, dope. Well, no, we gonna talk offline, man. Listen, I'm not gonna hold you. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and just look for a DM.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Sure. You too.
All right.